Alright, and welcome back to my Zelda II Adventure of Link Magic and Life at level 1 guided walkthrough. In the previous episode we went through the first palace and upgraded our life and magic bar using the only way allowed in this playthrough, namely by collecting the first heart and magic container. And to emphasize again, a fully extended magic bar is required to beat the game on level 1, due to the Reflect and Thunder spell costing 120 magic points. And here we encounter one of those boomerang guys, and they can be quite annoying if you don't kill them quickly. Which I fortunately managed to do, but because they throw their boomerangs at 2 elevations, meaning that when they get past you, you will need to turn around to block it and crouch if necessary. And we will encounter a lot more of those in Death Mountain in the next episode. However, you could choose to go there first before visiting the second palace, but Death Mountain is a really tough section, so I prefer to go there after the second palace. That way my sword is at a higher level. The downside is that without the hammer, there is no shortcut to the second palace. So if you get a game over, you will need to go all the way around again. However, before we go to the second palace, we will first visit the next town to acquire the life spell. And speaking of spells, in order to get out of this cave, you will need to use the jump spell that we got in the previous town. Also, don't worry about taking damage, there is a ferry to the right where you exit the cave. Now we are here to enter Death Mountain in the next episode. We're going to need Bagu's note, and his house is hidden in the woods over here. Unfortunately, I didn't quite remember where it was, so I first went to the space next to it. And then after leaving that screen, I waited too long, so I got ambushed again. Just remember it like this. From the yellow road, 3 bushes to the left and 3 bushes up. There are multiple bridges where you encounter these jumping skullfishes. Best is to keep moving and duck when they come from the right to block an incoming rock, which they can shoot at random. When they come from behind, you can jump over the rock or quickly turn around, duck and block. But the latter takes more time, of course. As I've said before, you can recognize the person that you need to speak to in order to acquire the spell of that town, because they will come out of their houses when you walk by. However, this one requests you to find her lost mirror, which you can find in the next house to the left under the table. Alright, so now we got the life spell. Very helpful with your life at level 1, as you can only take a few hits. However, with magic at level 1, you can only use it one time. And that's even after acquiring all magic containers. So you should only use it when you absolutely need to, or when a red potion is nearby. This is by no means necessary, in fact it might actually be better to skip this cave, but in here you can find some extra points. And by now we need no less than 2000 points for the next level. However, if you manage to acquire those before defeating the next boss, you will automatically get the required points for the level after that when you place the next crystal. And because I got the bag in this cave, and spoiler alert, because I went the wrong way inside the palace, I did manage to upgrade my sword before the second boss. So that is a great help when going through Death Mountain in the next episode, because that's one of the more difficult areas in the game. Now I don't know what the hell I'm doing on my way to the palace, because I'm not exactly following my own advice. Because as I said in part 1, what you need to do is to trigger the enemy silhouettes to appear and then make the encounter happen on the yellow road. Which I do, but after you leave the screen, you need to move immediately, as the enemy shadows appear based on a timer, not on the amount of steps you've taken. So don't do as I do. Make sure that you are constantly moving when you need to leave a safe area. Alright then, second palace. As far as the enemies are concerned, this palace is quite similar to the first one. So to an extent I'm going to be relatively quiet here and just let the gameplay speak for itself. However, I do make a mistake as far as the route is concerned. You need to start by taking the first elevator all the way down to get a key, and then get a second key on the floor above that, and then you need to use one of those keys on the door on the left hallway of the top floor. But since I forgot to take the key on the bottom floor, later on I will need to backtrack. And here we encounter the Zelda equivalent of the Medusa heads in Castlevania. But you can deal with them in a similar way, just envision the wave pattern in your head and move backwards to where they will move under you. Or over you in some cases. But unlike Medusa heads, these fuckers don't die in a single hit. So there's not much use attacking them at this point, unfortunately. Okay, I'm fucking up right and left here. So now I'm basically forced to use the life spell. However, as I mentioned in part 1, when you encounter a horse head statue on a wall, you will get a red potion if you hit it with your sword. Well, not all of them, but the one I encounter here to the left does in fact drop a red potion. And of course, enemies can also drop potions, but that's a matter of RNG. In this room, make sure to keep moving without hesitation because blocks will fall down. I do hesitate for a second, so I barely made it through without taking a hit. In fact, if you wait too long, you will actually have to leave the screen, because at this point you cannot break these blocks yet. The item after the next locked door will give us that ability. And here I found out that I forgot the first key. So that means I need to backtrack and risk losing a life. Isn't that fucking nice?
What happened?
Oh my goodness, this is awful!
This key opens the gate.
You've got to be kidding. Link, go and find
This key.
Or else...
Go fuck yourself.
Wow!
So as you can see, I'm now back at the very first elevator. So now you need to take it all the way down, and the key will be at the end of the hallway, guarded by a Hammer Brother wannabe. But by now you should know how to deal with those. Alright, I'm back at the locked door, but unfortunately it did cost me a life. The only good thing about this detour is that I did get some extra experience points this way. Okay, and now we have the power glove. Yes, that is actually how it's called. Although this one is not so bad. It allows you to break blocks, which is actually required to make it to the boss of this palace. Fuck me, I hate these flying eyeballs. And you pretty much have to put up with them and work around their fireballs. It's going to be a while before we learn the upward thrust attack. These horse heads on the wall can actually fire projectiles. Although you can block them with your shield, blocking them is rather inconsistent, I'm afraid. And this is very good. I have enough XP to level up, so that means that I get another level automatically after the next boss fight. As I said, rather inconsistent. Ignore this elevator for now. First go to the right. There is one more key to pick up. Well, it sucks, but the statue here has no potion inside of it. And because of the whole detour due to the missed key, I'm already on my final life, so things are going to get a little bit tense this way. Alright, so now I'm basically forced to use the life spell, but that means that I won't have enough magic for the shield spell. And even with a full life bar, you will die very quickly. Fortunately, with a level 5 sword, the boss only takes 6 hits to kill. So this is going to be about speed. Just like Horsehead, you will need to hit the boss's head. Twice you will knock its helmet off, and those will fly up and start shooting projectiles at you. Which can be blocked, but regardless, better make sure to quickly finish the boss before those helmets unleash a barrage of projectiles. Let me emphasize again, you will die very quickly with life at level 1. So, as I said, now I will get the next level automatically after placing the crystal. So that means a level 6 sword for Death Mountain. Which is good because that is a very tough area. So stay tuned for the next episode and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button.